Thank you.
And you are all the way from Scotland at this moment. Is that where you are?
Yeah, I'm in Glasgow at the moment.
Yes. In Glasgow. And I see that there's a Celtic harp behind you.
Yes.
So you are a harpist, and you are also involved with traditional music. So I wonder if you can say something about that.
Yeah, that's right. My practice is very much split between performance and composition, and kind of between very much traditional folk music of Scotland and Ireland, and then contemporary music. And it's kind of interesting where sometimes those worlds feel very separate, other times they meet, and often in sort of unexpected ways. I find lots of folk influences coming out in my contemporary music without necessarily intending it to be that way.
There are a lot of those strings on that harp that you pluck with your fingers, and you've written a new piece for Gregg August playing the double bass. It only has 4 strings.
But there's lots of plucking involved.
Something similar, right? How did you deal with that, and how did you work with Gregg? And
it's been such a joy working with Gregg. I think generally when I do write, very often I use my harp when I'm writing, and so for this, as you'll hear, like there is a lot of pizzicato in the piece that's kind of come from probably the harp patterns that I would use. But it's been so nice with Gregg. We've sort of been on WhatsApp regularly and on Zoom calls, and he's recorded stuff for me, and then we've sat on Zoom together and kind of pausing the recording where we want changes and things like that. So it's actually been way more successful in terms of collaborating than I ever thought it could be with somebody who's sort of 5,000 miles away.
Oh, that's amazing. Fantastic. And you guys first met, I know you, maybe it was that the first time you were in the States, I'm not sure, but when you came to the Bang Again Summer Festival at Mass Mocha, we were so happy to have you there. It was a great year, a great group of composers and performers. So it's really nice to see the two of you now, taking it to the next stage, writing a new piece and working together. And but you also, spent some more time there. I guess that was... you didn't get enough of North Adams. So
no, I came back last summer. So it was 2018. I came in and did the Bang & Can Summer Festival, and then last summer I came back and spent a week with Todd Reynolds. He was sort of mentoring me in electronic composition and kind of working with I've got an electric harp and working with that. So yeah, it was really nice, very strange to be back in such different circumstances, but it's such a great place. It's such a wonderful hub of creativity.
Are there electronics in this piece that we're going to hear now, or?
And there's a little bit of reverb, but no actual electronic processing.
Well, reverb is a very
reverb, yeah. Yeah.
And maybe as we're about to hear it, just to tell us the title, "The Bells Are All Silent."
Yeah. So I live in Glasgow on this, and it's like right at the junction of a crossroads, and surrounding us there's 7 different places of worship, and so normally at the weekend the kind of soundscape is just bells all the time, and it's been the change in soundscape since the beginning of the lockdown 12 weeks ago has just been so dramatic, especially because the traffic died down to almost nothing for about 10 weeks. At that time the silence was so remarkable, or sort of what you perceived as silence first, and then actually your ears became so attuned to all the other sounds around us. But that lack of the bells every weekend was a really big thing for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is Gregg ready?
No.
Still talk some more. That's really wild, though, to live among that many bells. I mean, my strongest memory of carillons and bells are being in Europe and thinking, "Wow, the tuning is so wild."
Yeah, so definitely not in sync.
For you to not have this kind of cacophony at regular intervals, I'm imagining.
Yeah, it's a much quieter awakening at the weekend, put it that way.
I once stayed in a hotel in Switzerland my room was right between 2 sets of church bells that were like tuned a quarter tone apart or something, and they've got that rich resonance anyway, that really thick sound, and it was really crazy. And I wrote this quarter tone choral piece. It's like 25 years ago that was just this kind of quarter tones hocketing back and forth, just from hearing those bells, But how's the quiet? Is it?
It's. I live right near a park as well, so the most striking is the difference in the amount of birdsong. And I don't know whether it's just that we're hearing it so much more now because the white noise from the traffic has died down, or whether it's really just that there is more. It feels like there's more wildlife generally that has kind of come to the city because it's been safer for them. So it's been this kind of really interesting time that while we were all locked up, nature's been thriving kind of without us, and I think it's been nice seeing spring arrive. But yeah, I mean, we've had an intense lockdown here. Like for 10 weeks, we really weren't allowed to go anywhere, and still all we can do is meet one other household outside, and you can't go without more than a 5-mile radius. So it's been a long time of that.
One of the big changes that people are writing about in New York City is that it's so much quieter, and you're hearing nature, and you're hearing birds, and it's the first time, when you drive in and out of the city, as you get closer to New York City, the traffic thins out, which is, has never.
The amazing thing is that we are now all just waiting for the time when we can get back to that other moment when we couldn't hear nature anymore. And now finally nature is benefiting from the fact that we're not healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all we can hope for is that changes. That's kind of sad. So
I know. People keep talking about being so desperate to get back to normal, but there's so many things I really hope don't go back to the normal that they were. It's a real, hopefully, a really good time for big changes to come about. And I know that, for instance, in Glasgow, they're trying to use this time to really expand like the bike lane network and things like that. So hopefully, good things will come out of it.
Okay, we're going to go to North Adams now, where Gregg August is, with the assistance of our friend Todd Reynolds, and he is about to play your new piece. This is a world premiere.